Greetings from demidoodle.com. This is Janeen. I'm going to show you how to make a card with the teapot and teacup from the Just Add Color Designer Series paper. And so you can see we're going to use this teapot and this teacup. I'm going to use some of the new in colors. So we'll be using Lemon Lime Twist cardstock Designer Series paper from the Fresh Florals Designer Series pack, some black cardstock, a doily, and we'll add a little stamp from You're the Best out of the Label Me Pretty set. And let's start with that stamp. So I'm going to use the basic black to coordinate with the highlighting of black cardstock I'm going to use on the card. So that looks great. And I'll use a couple of punches on this stamp set. I'm using the 1 1/4 inch circle punch to pop out the sentiment. And that's all I need out of that Whisper White cardstock. But I will get my circle from this piece. So I want now the 1 1/2 inch circle punch, and I'll just place it right in the center here. You can see me lining it up from top to bottom or side to side so that I have enough left over that I'll cover up that hole right here when I mount that. So let's just get that sentiment ready with a little adhesive. This is snail adhesive. Just adding that onto the black cardstock, and we'll set that aside until we're ready to use it. That's all we're using the archival black ink for, so I'll get that out of the way. Next, I'm going to show you, just finish up here, this fussy cutting that I was doing. Fussy cutting is a technique that really adds showing that you care about somebody by getting all that detailed cutting done, and adds so much interest to a card. So I just wanted to leave a little bit here. I did most of it ahead of time, but you can see there I can just trim off anywhere that looks too harsh of a cut or not enough detail cut into it. I'm using these great paper snips from Stampin' Up. They're only about $10, and they just really help you get detail like we're trying to do with this card. So that part's done. Now before I adhere the teapot and the teacup, I am going to use a technique that I showed on one of my other videos recently, but I'm going to press the lid of the ink like this, and then I get that little spot of color. I'll grab an Aqua painter, take that, and I decided ahead of time I just want to have a wash of color on this pot, and I don't really care about all the detail. If you want to take the time and color the detail, you go right ahead, but partly in the interest of time, I am just doing a real color wash type technique with this pot. And you can see how quickly that goes. I'll add some to the lid. Maybe I'll leave some white. But I did want to contrast the handle on that pot. I'm going to leave this out because I'll also use it for the cup. But you can see if you run out of ink, just squeeze it again. Pop it open. I can grab a little more and do the cup. I think I'll leave the inside of the cup white. And you can get a real watercolor look here by getting extra layers on one side and lighter on the rest. How about I leave the handle undone and do a real light wash on the saucer. Doesn't that look good together? I think I'll add a little color here. Alright, so there's that, so I can get this lemon lime twist out of the way, and now I just have a little basic gray. I'm just going to grab a little bit of that for the handle. And I I just want to have that be not so bright white contrast when I mount it on the card. So just a few seconds of adding some watercolor technique there with the Aqua painter and some basic gray ink. Alright, so those I am done with. Now I want to do some adhering. I am going to adhere this designer series paper, and you can see it's real pretty, both sides of it. They call it double-sided designer series paper because you can put either side up. Gives you twice as many options when you're making cards. And I wanted just a smidge more black so that I could set the teapot on it and make it look like it was a table. And when you have something really narrow that you're trying to adhere, I recommend the multi-purpose liquid glue Tombow here. Just a real thin bead of that is all you need. And I will add that element to this. And if you're wondering about the sizes of this cardstock, the base is 8.5 by 5.5, folded to be 4 1/4 by 5.5. The elements here are 5.5 wide, and the black is 2 inches, and the designer series paper is 1 3/4. Oh, and before I finish that off, I got a doily here I want to add as an extra element. Trying to center that. Let me get, again, a little liquid glue to put the doily on. Excuse me. Alright, so that goes in the center of the card. And you can use your grid paper to help you figure out if you have things centered or not. I'll add this element with the designer series paper and the black. And then I think I'll use some dimensionals. And so I've got some regular ones and some of these new mini that might be great for this project. I'll show you why that could help out. So let's put one at each end of the teapot, one on the back of the teacup, and for these mini ones, let's see if that'll help us on the handle. They're super teeny, just the right size when you have something small to adhere. Oh, look at that. Isn't that perfect? First time I'm using these. And if they show through a little, these snips are just perfect for that. Maybe on this side I need to snip a little off. Alright, so I got my mini dimensionals, my regular size dimensionals. Take those off, put my teapot on. And there's my teacup. Isn't that just the cutest thing? Alright, and then where did our sentiment go? Here it is. You're the best. Where do you think that would go good? Guess we could put it there instead of the cup. Maybe I'll mount it on the inside. That would be great. Let's do that. And then you can still write your message around for the person you're giving the card to. Perfect. And there is our completed card, and that uses the Just Add Color Designer Series paper, the Fresh Florals Designer Series paper stack, some black cardstock, some lemon lime twist, and these inks here. the basic gray, basic black, and lemon lime twist. And don't forget these awesome little scissors for just $10. And our stamp set here is the Label Me Pretty. Get you lots of options in there. Well, thank you for coming to demidoodle.com. If you need to buy these supplies, you can hop on over to the website and find the directions with the measurements for your future reference.